are Clint and Allison Dowda from A Double Dose of Dowda, and we are excited to share with you today a follow-up to a previous video that we had about bless, address, and press, and how we use that in the coaching world.
So why don't you get us started by just kind of telling us what that is. What is bless, address, press?
Bless, address, and press comes from something that Kelly Gallagher does with his students in writing groups. But I have found that it is incredibly helpful with coaching with teachers and giving feedback. So the idea is that there are 3 types of feedback that teachers can ask for. The first is bless. So sometimes teachers just need a win and they want to be told what they're doing well. So that's what you are giving them whenever you are giving them feedback, is something to bless them and tell them that they're doing a good job in something. The second is address. And address is what we're going to talk about today. And that's the idea that there's something in particular that a teacher wants you to address for them, and something particular they want you to look at and give feedback on. And then the third type of feedback you can give is press. And the idea with press is that you give them feedback on anything. Everything is open. Anything goes for the type of feedback that you can give to them. So we're going to talk today mainly about address. And with address, I will say that this is the type of feedback that you primarily want to be giving teachers as a coach. Because the idea is that in giving them feedback, you'd never want to go into an observation blind. There's nothing scarier as a coach than to try and go in and not know what sort of feedback someone wants.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're expecting, and so it's hard for you to deliver what when you don't know what they've ordered.
Exactly, because what I see and what I feel should be addressed may not be what you as the teacher see and feel should be addressed. So that's exactly the reason why it's just good to know going in. I typically like to ask teachers in advance what sort of feedback they are going to be looking for so that we are both on the same page.
That makes sense.
And so with coaching, it's really important with coaching because the primary work of coaching should have to do with coaching cycles. And so being able to join forces with these teachers and really help them to learn and grow. And so if you can do that as part of a coaching cycle, then this address feedback is a great way to lead into a coaching cycle with them.
Okay, so let's say you go into an observation and the teacher has asked you to look at their questioning and give them some feedback on that. What do you do if you go in and there's a whole lot more that needs to be addressed other than just questioning?
Believe it or not, sometimes that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I recommend is in those cases, I still will honor that teacher and I will still address whatever their issue is that they want us to look at and whatever they are interested in learning more about. So I always start with that piece and making sure that we are doing that. Now, I will say that sometimes if it's a brand new teacher and we are starting a brand new teacher and coach relationship, even if I see some other things going on, I might just hold my tongue. So for instance, I might go into a classroom and the teacher has asked me to address questioning. Well, in that lesson, I might notice that questioning is not a concern. Really, classroom management and managing student behaviors are what really need to be addressed, and that's getting in the way of everything else. But if it's my first time working with a teacher, then I may choose to not address that in that particular meeting and come back to it later if possible. But if it is a teacher that I have worked with before and we have that rapport and that experience with one another, then I will, after we address their issue, I will come back and say, now, I do have something that I noticed, or I have a suggestion. Is that something you would be open to hearing right now? And most of the time, a teacher is going to be very open to getting that additional feedback. They'll appreciate it. And then oftentimes what happens for me is once I have presented a teacher with whatever this other thing I've noticed is, they decide, you know what, I like yours better. Like that makes more sense for me to work on.
But the whole time you're deferring to them and letting them kind of lead where the coaching goes.
Absolutely. Because for me as a coach, it's so important that I honor them as a teacher, and they're a professional, and I need to make sure that they know that I see them that way.
Yeah.
And so we always start with what they want to address. And then if there's something I can layer on top of that, then that's going to be hopefully appreciated and helpful for them.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this is something you spend a lot of your time on with teachers.
Yes.
So how do you move forward from this after you have done an observation with a teacher where you've been asked to address something?
Sure. So in these situations, when I am asked to address something in particular with a teacher, let's just use the example of the classroom where I was asked to observe and give feedback on questioning, but maybe it turned out that classroom management was something better for us to tackle. The next step is that we are going to start talking about coaching cycles. So I'm going to start asking the teacher questions about what systems they have in place, what's working for them in those areas, identifying and drilling down to something specific that they want to work on. And then our work together, I will have follow-up meetings with them in order to just continue to work and grow in that particular area. I really like to end every meeting with teachers by asking them, what's next? Like, what are we going to work on together next? And so whether that's something where teachers want additional resources from me, like maybe videos, if it's around professional learning for, say, questioning, then I can gather things for them. I ask them if they would like a checklist of something as we go through and we're building that skill. If just kind of having things laid out for them and what to do next steps would be helpful. And then I always ask them when we are going to meet next and what we need to bring to this meeting, like what the action plan is. So really, this one is the most ideal of all the three feedbacks in order to make a plan to start a coaching cycle and to help those teachers grow.
So a simplified summary of this would be, you address whatever they ask you to address. You may see opportunities to put some other feedback in there for them, but you don't push it unless you have that relationship. And then once you've figured out what you're going to do, you always end the meeting. Where are we going from here? Like, are we going to meet again? Am I going to help you find something? Or do you just want me to touch base with you in a couple weeks and see how it's going?
Yeah, and that's one thing, too, that's worth addressing is that with these meetings with teachers, sometimes a teacher just doesn't have time for a coaching cycle, or sometimes it is a little bit scary for them to start their first coaching cycle. And so, again, honoring teachers as professionals, there are some teachers who just prefer to go it alone. Now, hopefully, as we build a relationship, they are going to come around and let me work alongside them and help them a little bit. But some teachers are going to want to do it on their own. And so I just make sure and let them know that if they are doing that, I'm available for support in any way that they need me. But yes, it's always about honoring the teacher and thanking them for the work that we're getting to do together.
Well, very good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Hey, you're so welcome.
And so make sure that you check out some of our other videos. We have one on bless, address, and press, and then we have a summary of all of those. And we're also making other videos all the time, so check those out, and hopefully you've learned something that can help you in your job.
As always, thanks for watching, and we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much.